My first missions trip was as an 8th grader. I went to the Child Evangelism Fellowship headquarters and helped do little work projects and things. And I went through high school, I went to Detroit with the high schoolers and did a vacation Bible school with inner city kids. And over the years, just kept doing different short things throughout the United States. And then after college, I was interested in going to Jordan for a year, and that ended up not working out, so I went to Alaska for a summer. And I'd been there before and just never thought I'd go back, and ended up spending about 2.5 months in Alaska working at the Chilean Bible Camp. And God kind of changed my life there. And as you'll find out later, I work there full time now. And so I helped coordinate some of the mission trips and always thought I'd be the one sending people and never thought that I would be going. So
Good. Ryan, we'll ask you the same thing. What has God led you to be a part of, and what's that experience been like for you?
Yeah, thank you. Well, missions, short-term missions to me is an ability for myself and you, if you go, to have a focused time on God. It's not just minutes or hours out of your day. It's the entire time you're there. You're focused on serving others through God, and that's a true blessing, not only to those you're serving, but also you're blessed in immeasurable ways for days after returning. But missions to me, I went to Tenalian Bible Camp to serve the children in the summer of 2013. Little did I know that I would also be served right along with the children. You see, I was a lost religious person, and God opened my ears and eyes to the true gospel while I was in Alaska, and was saved shortly thereafter, and came back from Alaska, and of course shared the gospel with my wife. And a couple months after sharing it with her heart and eyes were open to the truth of the gospel as well. And also this past fall, I served with a men's group. We went to the Danville prison and served the prisoners there for a couple of days, and teaching fathering biblical principles, and also definitely sharing the gospel throughout those 2 days. And it really, God was able to help me relate to them in various ways. I was a prisoner of sin and a deep depression in my past, and he showed sin and life in a different perspective when you walk into a prison, because these men were judged by society. They did something wrong. They were caught by the law of the United States, but there's many unrepentant sinners out there who are caught by God's law, and but there's hope and life in the gospel.
Interesting how we go to serve, and yet at the same time God blesses and grows us as well. And God has a way of doing that and blessing all sides, right?
Yes,
and,
yes.
So that's pretty cool, and neat to see how God works in a life of Ryan and his family, and continues to grow you all and push you forward. Megan, what would you say, in regards, you said you're full-time missions, and you were involved in different short-term missions trips and different ministries that God used to lead you there, and so what's that look like? How did God use those pieces to lead you into what's now full-time missions?
Well, it started with being willing to say yes, and to say no to something that I really wanted, and realizing that that's not what God had planned for me. And so I was encouraged. It was like, hey, if you think you need to go to Alaska for the summer, talk to your boss and get time off from work. And it wasn't hard. It wasn't easy to sit and say, hey, I need 10 weeks off of work. But she said yes, and was just encouraged to keep pursuing the Lord as I went to Alaska. And I came back and said, I think I'm going to go back there again. And just the support that I had from this body was incredible. And I would say probably 80% of my support comes from Village and individuals here. And I, on a regular basis, will get letters and emails from Awana kids, and just really enjoy that and feel fully supported by Village Bible Church, and it's awesome to just come back here and feel like nothing has changed, and it's awesome to see how God has used individuals and in this body corporately to encourage me.
Good. I'll ask you two more questions. Ryan, does a certain Bible verse or scripture passage come to mind that relates to this idea of missions or ministry outside the walls of the church?
Yeah, there's many that of course do, but I think Romans 10, 14, and 15, in brief, it's how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the good news. And to me, it's so important because we need to share the good news in word in order for God to open their hearts and to believe. And I too often see Christians say that they lead by their actions, or people will see how they live differently. But in truth, we need to not only show the word to people, but also speak the word in order for people to actually hear it. So that's why I have a deep passion and compassion for evangelism and discipleship.
It's a good point. God could have communicated that in all kinds of ways, and yet He's given us the responsibility to go and to proclaim it. And He chose us.
I'm an outcome of missions.
Yeah.
Missions saved my life. So
that's good. One more question for you, and one for Megan. What's it mean to you to be all in right now as we're talking about this during the Christmas season?
To be all in to me means to choose the cross over my own comforts, and to choose missions over maintaining the status quo of my faith. It means to be I'm still a sinner, but be completely obedient to God's will in my life, furthering His kingdom through evangelism, through discipleship, through being a godly husband and a godly father, and just loving others.
Good. How would you answer that, Megan? What's it mean to be all in to you?
I think for me it was being willing to say no to one thing that I thought I was supposed to be doing, and yes to what God really wanted me to do, despite fear or leaving family and a place that I love, and doing uncomfortable things, being willing to raise support, being willing to sell my car and fly on small airplanes. And it means loving the Lord more than things that are comfortable and I'm used to. And it means being willing to allow other people to love me as well as to love them. I think a lot of times we have this assumption that we minister to other people, but in the process we have to allow them to love us back.